All right, you all, welcome back to Beyond the Claim, Unfiltered Insurance and Adjuster Talk. Now, I really want to go in with this episode and just do a recap. Because one of the things I want us to understand is that, yeah, the recent floods happened. They happened, right? And they were devastating. And not only did Texas get the floods, Mexico got the floods, North Carolina got flooded, entire neighborhoods went underwater in a matter of hours, minutes. It left homes and lives destroyed. People are picking up the pieces. But one of the things I really wanted us to understand in previous videos, if you have been watching any of my videos, you know that that's one of the main topics that I've been talking about is flooding. I just came up with the term, if it rains, it can flood. And one thing about being an adjuster, adjusting claims for many years, thousands of claims, I already know that, flooding is not covered by traditional homeowners insurance. You need a separate policy for that. So I sort of want to recap because I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now that, I know it's not insured. But I want us to understand that we all need to know it here. We all need to know if we're going to invest in these homes, we're going to invest in these cars, we're going to invest in, anything that's really of value. You're making a huge investment. You're going to have to protect yourself. And another thing we do have to understand is that government pretty much is not there anymore. And I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to wake us up as a community, so we'll know, what's really going on, and we can understand that truthfully. And just saying this truthfully, in our communities, we're going to have to start being each other's brothers keepers, sister keepers, however you want to put it. We got to start looking out for one another because help is not just there like that. Now, before I dive into the episode, because I have some clips I want to show you all to what I was trying to let you all know about insurance, that it's just not covered. And people are understanding now we don't have any coverage, right? But this is the first thing I want to sit right here with you all just a moment. If you can take a look and you can read this, with the recent Epstein non-files that came out, right? It's a little devastating because you sort of get tired of the powerful getting away with something. And dear to my heart are our children. And so when that came out, and I was saying to myself, here we go again. Abercrombie and Finch, or whatever they're called. This is not right, right? We have to stop this with our children. If you see something, say something. Report it. And I'm going to tell you, I know for sure it's really unfair because you have a lot of victims in that case. I saw that documentary on the Epstein a long time ago. And the case really broke open down in Florida, right? And those girls were being picked up from high school, and they were recruiting each other from high school. And one of the things that I just sort of really want to bring to your attention when we're looking at this is that who was healed in that moment? Because there are a lot of victims, a lot of girls, right? Because that's what they liked, girls. And who to say that these girls today are not recruiting? Because that's how the trend goes. If you can get them while they're young, they will continue to duplicate it just like child molestation or, up in that area, you do it to one child, that child will do it to someone else, and that child do it, and it spreads like wildfire. right? So this is critical. And I'm going to ask if you can really join in, all of us, you guys. If we see something, say something, right? You can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline. That's at 1-888-373-7888. Every voice matters. Every child deserves protection. And I'm going to tell you another thing of what I understand now is that it used to be our girls that they would definitely, sex traffic, right? They're still a hot commodity. But understand, little boys are becoming a hotter commodity. They are. We have to stop this. This is not right to the future generation. Let me tell you something. If you can, it's easier to repair a child than trying to heal a broken adult. That's when you got something in your hand, on your hands, and that's when it continues to perpetrate itself, and it continues to go on and on and on for generations to come. Someone has, I know it's not just Epstein and Gazelle, whatever her name, were in this. There were other powerful men, and I'm gonna point this out: white men that's involved in this. And it's just a huge cover up, but it's not right because it's our children. We have to do better with that. We have to do better, and they do have to be held accountable so this don't happen anymore. I say we got to look out for our children. I know that there's groups that say, we got to protect the child while it's in the womb, but I believe that same group forget that the child is born. There's life beyond the womb, and that's when the critical work continues. You want to do anything, this is where we need to get involved in child sex trafficking. This is a national problem, and they come through the United States. All right. So I just needed to speak on that just for a moment so we can understand how that affects all communities. All communities are affected with that, and all communities are affected when you have this type of a cover up. Because to me, it's a cover up. Because I followed this case for a long time years ago when I saw that documentary on Jeffrey Epstein, and it started in Florida. That's when the case sort of got opened up. But he was overseas before in another country doing the same thing, right? It just wasn't here. So this was a trend for him. But anyway, so I just want to bring that to your attention. We have to watch out for our children, little boys as well. I'm telling you guys, they're becoming a hotter commodity than the girls, and you guys know why. All right, so let's get back to the episode. I want to talk about Texas for a minute. So we do know they were in that waist deep water. Over 100 lives are lost. Over 100 and something lives are still not accounted for, right? And we know that cleanup is going to be hard. Families, people swept cars, trailers, homes. These people were getting out of Dodge with the clothes on their backs, and who wouldn't? I know I would. However I got to save my life, I don't care what I'm in or if I don't have on anything. I'm going to try my best to save my life, right? So I just want you all to understand that having the proper insurance and the proper coverage will help you recover if your life is saved. New Mexico, North Carolina, the same story repeated. Sudden rainfall, catastrophic flooding. It is here, you guys. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not going anywhere. These floods cut through communities. Communities were cut off from other communities because of this flood. And a lot of times we will say, okay, well, this can't happen to me, or I've never seen it before in my area. I've lived there for 30 years. It is never rained in our area like that before. But we're not in the same times. We're not in the same times. We're talking about a whole different landscape. All right. Let me play you a clip when I can tell you we're talking about a whole different landscape, or what we're dealing with when it comes to when this rain comes down, right? So let me just play you this little clip here so you can see what I'm talking about. Just one moment. I'm going to bring it to you.
Heavy rain triggered historic flooding in the mountain town of Ruidoso yesterday. It was so intense, an entire home, look at that, ripped off its foundation, swept all the way downstream.
New drone video shows a look at some of the devastating aftermath today. Authorities say at least 3 people were killed, including 2 children. Dozens of others had to be rescued from their flooded homes and streets. And today, there's a slight chance of even more rain. Meteorologist Bill Cairns is tracking it all. But let's start with NBC's Steve Patterson with an update from officials in New Mexico.
Yeah, look, this small corner of southern New Mexico is reeling, feeling like they got hit by a deluge of rain, which turned into a raging river of floodwater, cutting through neighborhoods, uprooting whole homes, sending cars into homes, and sparking about 65 swiftwater rescues. City officials just coming back with fresh information. First of all, obviously still 3 dead, 2 of them young children, 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 40 to 50-year-old man, all confirmed dead. Still 1 missing. Crews continue to scour the area. Meanwhile, they are assessing the damage. We're looking at probably somewhere around 30 to 50 homes in preliminary assessments that have been either damaged or destroyed, and we have seen the devastation on the ground. A lot of residents still wondering what they're going to do next because there's so much mud uprooted. It's everywhere. There was a river of this floodwater flowing through residential neighborhoods. City officials say this came on extremely quickly. They tried to get alerts out as fast as they could, but as soon as the alerts were out, the water was on top of them. The primary alert, is including door knocks, was to get people just up, as far up as they could, so they weren't sitting on top of it. But in a lot of cases, those people had to be rescued because of the situations that they were in. Moving forward, the governor is going to be on the ground pretty soon, assessing again some of the damage, meeting with city officials, talking about why this keeps happening. This is not the first time a flood of this magnitude has struck this very place. In fact, it was just a year ago, following a series of devastating fires. Some of the fires killing 2 people, then leading to those floods because the water itself, when it rains on some of the burn scars that are remaining in this area, saturates those scars. Those scars then send the water flooding into town, almost like, just like.
You see? And so what is happening is that our landscape is not the same. When we have these fires that happen, those fires leave that soot and that ash. So it's pretty much like the ground is no longer can absorb the water. And the water is coming so quickly, of course it can't absorb it as fast as it needs to. This is why you definitely want to make sure that you have a great mitigation system in those areas. You know, I've recently heard on a couple of shows that the same county in Texas, I think it was President Obama, was giving them some mitigation money, millions of dollars. And that town said they weren't going to take it because of who it came from. My life is not a political pawn, but I can tell you one thing. If anyone come to give me money to get my town together, to mitigate my town, to make sure that it is up to par when these catastrophic events come, I'm better prepared. I'm better prepared. I am prepared for what is next. At least I can have a fighting chance. But when you have politics so deep down in your heart to where you will let a political party tell you no, not to take this, and you know in your heart that your community is poor, you know your community is poor. And you're going to decline that money that can help. But I tell you one thing, yeah, they say they declined it, but no one never knew what happened to the money. But they did not use that money to put forth the mitigation efforts to try to help prevent this type of catastrophic death that happened in that area. Now, you know that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I'm not so tied to a political party or people to where I am going to neglect the very area that I live in. It just doesn't make any sense for me. All right. So when you're looking at this and you're trying to understand, you know what? Hold on. Wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Let me show you another video. And this is why I want to show y'all these videos, because I want you to understand one thing that's pointing out to me when they say we don't have insurance. Let me show you this other one right here.
Is also in Kerrville. She survived the flooding, but her home was seriously damaged. Sid, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Just first of all, how are you doing and where are you taking shelter right now?
Good morning. I am currently in Kerrville staying with friends I went to Camp Mystic with.
It's just, when you put it that way, Sid, it's just been so incredible to learn about that community and the fact that you're saying you went there with friends. We know it's such a generational place that's so special. I do want to hear more about that in a minute. I also do want to show, like Joe just mentioned, your home and stuff. We know we have photos and videos. You shared these with us. We're going to show some of them right now. Can you describe the state of your property and what we're looking at here? What happened where you live?
Okay, that is not my house. That is a couple of houses down, and those people are close to a trailer park that has totally been destroyed. I don't know what's happened to the people. I went over there yesterday to try and find people that I could tell that I found some photographs and little toys and things on my property, and that if they wanted to come over and pick them up, they could, but nobody was there. And yeah, that's the neighbors. That's the neighbors.
Walk us through what that night was like for you and how you were able to survive.
Well, actually, I survived because I was not there. I had planned to be there that weekend, and then a couple of things happened, and I went home to Houston for the weekend, for July 4th weekend. But if I had been there, I would not have left my home, because everybody knows that it doesn't flood like that. None of us have flood insurance, because my next door neighbor had got a quote for his new house, and it was $6,000 a month.
Wow.
For flood insurance. So I've had homes in the hill country for 45 years.
Did you hear that? She said it never floods here. And this is what I want us to understand. It is even flooding in areas that never flood. It doesn't flood there. So, that's what she said. And then she said, we don't have flood insurance. Flood insurance is something that you're going to look at. Now, she said $6,000 a month. I sort of beg to differ with that. Because to me, at $6,000 a month, you can put that money away yourself for $6,000 a month and just keep that in a high yield in an account that's going to give you some interest on it, right? But we have to understand these are everyday people. They have everyday stories. They have their homes that they're paying for, but they don't have any flood coverage. And flood coverage is going to be something that we really do need, that flood coverage, right? I just want us to really understand that you hear so much chatter about FEMA, where they at. Haven't even heard from the head of FEMA. Don't even know where he is, right? All you see is the Christy Nome young lady, but other than that, no one else. But you're understanding now what I've been saying to you all. You guys, FEMA is being dismantled right now. It is not waiting for the next They're not waiting for the next hurricane season. They're waiting right now. They're doing it right now. They're dismantling it. I have another video I am going to put out, and I'm going to show you that there are states that have lost those grants through FEMA that was from the previous administration. This administration canceled them. And so now they don't have the money to mitigate these areas. I'm telling you guys, it's being done right now. And I also want you all to understand, just 1 inch of water in your home can cause $25,000 or more in damage. We're talking about 1 inch. Your flooring, your drywall, your appliances, your furniture, all that stuff will be gone. All that stuff will be gone. FEMA assistance, even if they decide to give assistance, which I did hear that they did open up the assistance area for certain areas, which they do county by county. It's going to be limited. And so at this point, we're definitely going to have to be each other's brother keeper. I'm just telling you, because it's going to be a slow recovery. And that's another thing I tell people, because I'm a claim adjuster, and I try to tell them, whenever you have these type of homes, your homes are devastated by wind or flood or what have you, it's a little bit of a slow recovery. And I tell people, you have to pack your patience. You're going to have to pack your patience because it is slow. And you may not get a contractor right away. It's going to be expensive. And I don't know if I would rather try to invest in some type of insurance on the front end and then fight with someone on the back end about how you're going to get my car back or get my home back in order, right? I have one more video I want to show you. Now, this young lady here on this video here, she had a little bit of controversy around her because I guess she made TikTok videos downplaying or downgrading people that was on Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, what have you. But this is why you never know when disaster is going to strike. But it's going to be one key thing that she said that stood out to me about insurance, right? So let me show you.
Forgotten community for Travis County. We're unincorporated. We are their unwanted stepchildren out here, unfortunately. We had no warning. Nobody notified us. 2:30 in the morning. Nobody was here. No firefighters, no police, nobody. We did not see Travis County sheriffs until 10 o'clock the next morning. Get me some official. Get me water. Get me anything we need, please. We have nothing. For God's sakes, Travis County, help us. Don't treat us like we're nothing out here, because we're not. We're human beings. We pay taxes out here. Don't treat us like this.
You see, she has no insurance. She said it. We have no insurance. We're an older community. These are older people in the area. We have no insurance. We have no money. So me personally, if you don't have any insurance, we already know you don't have the basic insurance. But if you don't have the basic insurance, I know you don't have flood insurance. So you're going to need as much help as possible. And I know if you don't have insurance, you don't have money, you are relied on the federal government to help you. I'm quite sure that whole community more than likely have Medicare. And if they're as poor as she's saying, they have Medicaid. And if she's as poor as she's saying, they're getting public assistance like food stamps, right? We just have to be clear in understanding that you never know when disaster is going to come to you. This is why you have to understand life ain't fair, especially when you're not fair. So you just never know when it's going to happen. So you're just going to have to sort of wake up and understand, let me shut my mouth, because you never know when it's going to come, right? Now, I don't share this to scare you. I sort of share this to empower you. And I'm going to keep coming here and talking to you guys about this, because I know of the trend that I'm seeing as a adjuster, that when that disaster hit, you won't be able to call your insurance company, especially if you have just a regular homeowners insurance, and expect any help. You need that flood coverage, because look at the trend here, guys. Every time a hurricane come through, every time these torrential rains are coming down, you may have your piece of your roof gone, but I would prefer to have a piece of my roof gone than water in my home. And that's just the bottom line. That's me. That's what I would prefer, right? So I'm going to keep coming back, because my goal is to, we're investing in these homes. We put, new yards, new siding, we get it painted, but at the same time, we don't have the protection of these homes. We got to protect our homes, guys. We got to do this, because it's a huge investment that we're making. I even read an article that, people are starting to say, you know what, the first thing goal is going to be my homeless insurance because I got to eat. I got to feed my family. I can understand that. I can. This is why I'm saying we have to look out for each other more. The government is no longer our friend, no longer looking out for us. Not at this time. Because even after those storms, it took a while, a couple of days, 3 or 4 days or whatever, for FEMA to even be activated. It's almost as if they had to come to a sense as well. It's over this amount, so maybe we need to. Sometimes these states don't have enough money for that. Mississippi is a poor state. And I'm going to tell you another thing I know for sure, because I'm also in with FEMA as well. I have a number of coworkers that are on standby. I had a couple of them finally got called up. They weren't called up to go to Texas. They were called up to go to Mississippi because Mississippi had been on standby, begging for funding to help them. Finally, they got it. And I got that call a couple, maybe last week or something. They're leaving on the 14th, which is tomorrow, which is 14th, yeah. So, yeah. So I'm just here to let you all know, as a consumer, but also as an adjuster, you're going to need this protection. You're going to want it. And you can see what state this is going to be a very long recovery. And I remember I saw when FEMA got a bad rap, it was pretty much during the the political thing with Harris and Trump, right? So that hurricane came through there, and he went down to North Carolina and talked about FEMA so bad, how it needed to be dismantled. It's not doing this. But see, what people didn't understand, that was a political thing. That's what he was doing politically. But what happened? You ate the cookies and drank the milk. And then decide we don't need that money. We don't want that money. FEMA's nothing. FEMA's not doing anything. That's a lie. That was a lie. That was a political thing. But you kept drinking the milk. You kept drinking that Kool-Aid. But then when you find yourself to where you need this, I bet you're knocking on FEMA's door. Those people in North Carolina came back. Hey, where's FEMA? Well, our homes aren't repaired. We need FEMA. That was just a political thing. But you take it so far, take it too far, to where you don't understand you're cutting yourself off at your kneecap. I don't care what party you're in. I don't care. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, because some are way too right, some are way too left. For me, So in that area, it's really hard for me. But I can tell you what, I am not. When I know that person is good when they go home, and then I'm poor as crap, I'm not doing that one. All right. So hey, that's my episode for today. I didn't mean to bring it on so hard for you today, but I just want you to know we have to look out for each other. We have to look out for our best interests. Get out of all this political crap and understand you want to protect your community. Go back and ask for that mitigation money. Ask those folks, where's that mitigation money that Obama gave you? See if they can pull that money together and start trying to mitigate, because mitigation is a part of FEMA. But that has been cut out as well. I'll tell you about that on my next video. Hey, download my game plan toolkit for you. The link is in the description. That toolkit is going to help you get started to what you need to do. All right. It's going to talk to you about insurance, how to set up everything. It's also going to tell you how to keep everything on track to get that foundation. All right. Because we just don't know. This is going to be tomorrow's news because it's already dying down. But they're going to continue to have to live with the consequences, right? This is just what it is. So we have to continue to help each other, keep each other going, and understand we just got to pull it together. All right. Now, if you found this video informative, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 homeowners. by the end of the year. And I think I can do it. So share it, subscribe. Again, I want to protect 10,000 homes by the end of year. Again, I'm Conticia, and thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered Insurance and Adjuster Talk. And I'll be back at you. Take care.